This is the only vinegar, at least on paper, that's demonstrated to be stronger than apple cider vinegar, especially when it comes down to overall health benefits and fat loss. Now, let me get one thing straight. The primary benefit of apple cider vinegar is not the fact that there's a mother, like it says on the label. That whole probiotic, prebiotic effect is really minuscule. That is not really what we're after. The main component of apple cider vinegar is merely the acetic acid. Now, why is this so effective first thing in the morning? Why is this so effective in a fasted state? It's simply because it activates AMPK, and it does this because acetic acid can help with what's called acetyl coenzyme A. So essentially, it's kind of making your body think it's in a little bit of a deficit. That's a very colloquial way of putting it and scientifically inaccurate to say, but for the sake of content, it makes sense. When you activate AMPK, you're basically telling your body that you are in somewhat of a deficit and your body needs to start tapping into stored fuel. Okay, so like if you start working out and exercising, your energy sensor kind of goes down because you have less energy available because you're burning it. So you have a likelihood of tapping into your own fuel. That is what acetic acid essentially does, and that's why you can make somewhat of a fat loss claim with it. However, most of the scientific evidence that points to vinegar for fat loss is really just having to do with the effect on carbohydrate absorption. Okay, basically, it's going to delay the absorption of carbohydrates, attenuating a glucose spike, which therefore makes it so that if you are a little bit insulin resistant, you have time to sort of catch up with that glucose. So it can be very effective for metabolically unhealthy people, especially along with carbohydrates. Now, before I get into what this best vinegar is, I put a link down below for today's sponsor, which is Thrive Market. Now, I'm pretty stoked to announce too that for the last couple of years, I have been working with Thrive Market on creating my own product with them. And we decided a couple years back that a good nut butter would be the perfect product to team up on. So my nut butter has officially launched. So there's a couple of different ones. There's a macadamia nut, there's a cinnamon Brazil nut, which is sweet and tastes amazing, that's sweetened with allulose. And there's a chocolate hazelnut flavor, which is amazing. And they're going to abide by my rules too. There's a few different nuts in them, and then there's some allulose, and there's some salt. There's no fillers, there's no weird stuff. And the cool thing is if you get them through Thrive Market using that link down below, you'll save 30% off your entire grocery order, which also includes my nut butters. Plus you get a $60 free gift when you use that link. So you use that link down below, and then you can find the nut butters there on the website, and you can try whatever different flavor you want. I highly recommend you check them out. I created them in tandem with Thrive Market, so what you're getting is literally what I formulated and what I made. So definitely check them out. And if you're already a Thrive Market member, I'll put a link down below in the description that's specifically for a Thrive Market member that goes directly to that page as well. So when it comes down to apple cider vinegar and its effect beyond just the acetic acid, we have to look at a particular polyphenol or a phenolic compound called a catechin, the same catechin that's in green tea. This catechin, sure, it's very good for fat loss. There are some very strong bodies of evidence with that, but it's also a potent polyphenol, potent phenolic compound with antioxidant properties that are just good for the body. Now, apple cider vinegar has about 5 milligrams per 100 when it comes down to catechins. That is not bad, but funny enough, red or black grape vinegar have 5.4. Now, that sounds like a small amount, and it kind of is, but it opens up a bigger can of worms and take us down kind of a different rabbit hole. It's like, what's the benefit of the apple cider vinegar? Because when you look at apple cider vinegar and it says it contains the mother, those probiotics are not really doing you much good. As a matter of fact, the only evidence for probiotic foods as far as remodeling gut bacteria comes from dairy. That's it, literally. Like if you look at the evidence, not even kombucha really stands up. So when you're looking at fermented foods, you're getting a benefit because it's easier to digest. There's an acidic component to it that's good for you. You get more nutrients, you get possible minerals. They are good for you, but they're not necessarily adding benefit to your gut. Whereas something like kimchi has a benefit because you also have garlic and onion, which are prebiotic fibers. So any benefit that might come from apple cider vinegar for the gut comes from the small amount of pectin, when in reality what we should be looking at are the polyphenols, because polyphenols have an impact on our gut. Did you know polyphenols are technically a fiber? That's why when you eat blueberries, yeah, you get blueberry skin, that's physical fiber, but those anthocyanins that are in blueberries, those are a microscopic fiber that feed the gut bacteria. They ferment in the gut and support and remodel our gut. So apple cider vinegar, although pretty high, it's not as high as some others. Now, it's not just the red and black grape. If you want to get more granular, strawberry vinegar, or strawberry wine vinegar as it's called sometimes, 6.4 milligrams. So that's even higher. And really down the line, we have dark chocolate vinegar, which exists, which is 20 plus, 20.5 technically. So that doesn't mean that you just opt for those. All the acidic components about the same. The point is, the higher the antioxidant, higher phenolic compound food, the higher it is going to be in the vinegar as well. So this is not to throw shade on apple cider vinegar. Let me give you some ideas and concepts as to when to use this. There's a few times to capitalize on apple cider vinegar, or if you've learned this new one now, red or black grape vinegar, or strawberry vinegar, or dark chocolate vinegar. For one, fasted. Fasted, you run the best chance of having a potential fat loss effect because of that acetyl coenzyme A effect. Okay, because it does sort of skip ahead into the Krebs cycle a little bit and kind of make it look as though you're in a deficit by activating AMPK. So if you do that fasted, sure, you could make the argument that you'll get a little bit of fat loss, but it also kind of amps you up and starts your day. Now, when it comes down to timing with food, a little bit of vinegar, even diluted in water or along with a higher carbohydrate meal, could be very powerful at reducing the glucose spike that comes with that meal. Now, what I would recommend, I would take your vinegar that is the highest antioxidant component, the strawberry, the red, or the black grape, and have that towards the evening time for a twofold reason. It is a huge bolus of antioxidants that can seriously have an impact on your sleep. The research is strong there. But additionally, the acetic acid can lower your glucose, making it so that you sleep a little bit better as well. Because especially if you're insulin resistant, having apple cider vinegar, or again, these higher potency vinegars at night, can impact your glucose levels, which has an impact on your sleep. So I've done videos on apple cider vinegar at night versus the morning. It's like morning for fat loss, nighttime for sleep. And in this case, you'd want to have it shortly after your dinner, depending on whether you had carbohydrates or not. If you had carbs with dinner, have it closer to dinner. If you did not have carbs with dinner, you can have it about an hour before bed and you might notice an impact, although everybody is different. So as always, keep it locked in here on my channel. I'll see you tomorrow.